Hi everybody, it's Stefan again for HoleTut.com with the second part of the characters overview tutorial. And in this part I'm going to show you how to finish the project. And before we export these particles, let's add a camera. Come to Layer, New Camera, hit OK, select the camera and hit R to review the rotation, and turn off the motion blur. Come to 2-second mark, set a keyframe about Z rotation, and come to 10-second mark and set another keyframe and make it 180 degrees. So all the particles rotate 180 degrees. And then turn off all the layers except the particle layers and the camera, and render them out with an alpha channel in a QuickTime format. So I'm going to pause the video, render out these particles, and come back to continue the tutorial. Here we are. I pre-rendered the particles, so we can drop this down here, turn off these layers, and it takes forever to render these particles because of the motion blur, but it's okay. And let's show this to see that they have alpha channel. And now let's add adjustment layer, and let's go with shine and put it on top of the characters animation layer, and we are going to apply shine and change the transformer to add colorize. Let's colorize it with the electric preset and set the array length to 7. And another thing we are going to do is select the characters animation and colorize the particles. Come to effect, color correction, tint, and change the second color to a white bluish color, and let's add a glow, stylized glow, and increase the radius and intensity twice, and unsole the layers. And basically that's what we get so far. Now let's select lens flare 1 layer and duplicate it, put it on top of the layers, and close this and set this to 100, and delete the keyframes for flare brightness, and hit U to review the rest of the keyframes. Delete the keyframes for opacity, set it to 100, and come to 9 seconds and 10 frames maybe. Set a keyframe for flare brightness and set it to 0. Come to 10 seconds mark and set it to 120, and come to 11 seconds mark and set it to 0 again. And basically that's the animation with the lens flares. The final thing we are going to do in this composition is to add another adjustment layer. Come to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and let's call it Color Correction, and let's add a curves adjustment, just a bit of contrast here, and let's add a tint effect to desaturate the whole composition a bit. Set it to 35, and let's add a bit of noise, so noise and grain, noise, and set it to 5, so it looks more cinematic. And then we are going to create the actual logo reveal composition. So let's create another new composition. and let's call it logo review and hit OK, and import the Hole Tut logo in this comp, and let's scale it like so to fill up the comp, and let's create a black solid, layer new solid, and we're going to use this layer as a matte for our logo. So let's turn off this layer, select the ellipse mask tool, zoom in and create just a little circle here, and come to the beginning of the composition, hit MM to review all the mask properties, and set the feather to 150, set a keyframe for mask expansion, and come to the 2-second mark and increase the expansion like so, and we're going to use this layer as a alpha matte for the logo, so it will reveal the logo as you can see here. So close this and let's duplicate the alpha map. In this case, this is our alpha map, and let's create a copy, select it and duplicate it, and open this composition and rename it fractal strength map, and delete the logo and create another solid, layer new solid and make it white, put it below the black solid, hit U to review the keyframes, come to 1-second mark and move these keyframes like so, and change the mask expansion to 1000, this time to almost fill up the whole composition screen, and come to MM and review all the mask properties, come to mask path and zoom in and increase it a bit so it fills up the whole screen like so. Okay, hit enter to apply the changes. Basically that's it for this animation, and now let's create another composition. Select the alpha map and fractal strength map and put them in the new composition, hit OK, and let's call this composition logo review and hit OK. Let's create a new solid, layer new solid, and call it form, turn off these compositions and come to effect, trap code form, and basically that's the form. Come to base form and we are going to use a box grid as a base form and increase the size of the particles so they fill the composition, and come to composition settings and just copy these values here and paste them in X and Y here. So copy and paste and repeat the action again. Also set the resolution to full to see the particles better, and particles in this space, we don't need particles in this space, so set it to 1, and increase the particles in X and Y to, let's say, copy these values and paste them to, this way we get one particle on each pixel, so we get a perfect gray solid. And now let's come to layer maps and current alpha. Let's choose our layer for current alpha, and this will be our alpha map. And let's open it again, and functionality RGB alpha to RGB alpha, and map over X and Y. This way the particles will represent our logo, revealing like so, as you can see here. And for the fractal strand, we are going to use our fractal strand map. Come to fractal strand, layer, choose this layer map and map over X and Y, and come to particle and change the opacity to 15 and double the number of particles here. Just type multiplied by 2, and here is the same, multiplied by 2, and drop down the resolution, because these particles are going to kill your computer. And come to fractal field section and set the displacement to 150, set the flow X to 25, set the flow Y to -40, and set the flow evolution to 30, because we're going for a smooth, slowly flowing particles, and it takes forever to render, as you can see here, but it works, believe me. Come to the fractal settings here and set the F scale to 12 and leave the rest like this, and come to the 2-second mark and wait for our logo to see how it looks, and render all these particles. As you can see, it's a very cool effect. And let's animate the logo. So come to form layer, hit T for opacity, come to 2 seconds and 20 frames where the logo is completely revealed. Set a keyframe for opacity and 1 second forward, 3 seconds. Set a keyframe for opacity to 0. So we fade out our form layer and we will fade in our alpha map layer. So come to 2 seconds mark, set a keyframe for opacity to 0 for the alpha map, and come to 3 second mark and set the opacity to 100. And this way we have a very smooth transition between the form and the alpha map layer. Now we are going to add a shine to this logo. So let's create a new adjustment layer and call it shine, and add a shine effect to it. Shine, and let's change the colorize to electric. Transform mode, change it to screen, and let's see, we are going to animate this shine. Turn off the form layer so we can work a bit faster. Come to the beginning and set a keyframe about source position and move the source position here and come to 5 seconds mark and move the source position here like so, and set a keyframe for ray length, set it to 0, and come to 4-second mark, hit U to review the keyframes and set the ray length to 6, and we have a smooth fade out of the shine. And the final thing we are going to do is to add another adjustment layer. By the way, we are going to copy the color correction layer from this composition, edit, copy, and paste it in the Hole Review composition. And finally we are going to put the characters, animation and Hole Review composition in one final composition where we can render out the whole scene. So let's create new composition and make it 30 seconds long and call it final. Hit enter, and characters, animation and Hole Review. Drag this composition here and change the transfer mode to add, and now if we render a preview it should look just perfect. So I'm going to pause the video to make the preview and then show you what we created. The preview is ready, so let's see what we created. I think that's the end of this tutorial. Hope you enjoyed and learned new things, of course, and see you next time.